Hi everyone, welcome. How you doing? Welcome to the live. I'm Clive. Welcome to Clive's Adventures. So this is the bike that I will be cycling John O'Groats back to Kent next year, 2025. This year I cycled in May from Land's End to John O'Groats, 37 days. Wasn't a race, but it was definitely an adventure, and I learned from the bike that I used. So the bike I used was a hardtail frame and front suspension. I had a front carrier mounted to the lower part of the fork, and then pannier bags that were on the rear of the frame. Now, the issues that I found personally, which I didn't like, one, that when you hit bumps, the only suspension you had was from your tyres, and that meant that any shock from the weight of the bags basically just broke bolts. So the carrier broke bolts that went into the frame. I broke rear wheel bearings and everything else. So this is my custom build. I've had this bike from when I was 18 years old. I was doing work experience at the time. Jeff Will Cycles in Strood, which is in Kent. It's a downhill frame with a rear shock, which is in the frame. And what I've done is basically I've built a custom rear carrier, or I've used an existing one that comes off the seat post, and we've done a bit of framework, custom framework, to strengthen it so we can carry a pannier bags on the back, completely independent from the rear suspension. The front suspension is just some Suntour. They're XCRs, but they're very, very, very soft. Very, very soft, and that's perfect for what I want. I want a bike that I can ride with them locked out, and then when we're going across gravel or maybe some tree roots and stuff like that, there's lots of travel for the suspension to take any bump, so the shock doesn't go through the frame and the carriers and all the bits that I'm carrying, because I'm just fed up of breaking stuff. Right, let's have a look, because I can't actually see chat today, unfortunately. I heard something got said, but I'm not sure what it was. I'll have to turn the volume up a little bit. Let's test to see if this is working. Oh, it is. There we go. We'll turn that up, and then I should be able to hear comments. Let's check the bitrate. Oh, bitrate's good. Okay, we're using the Huawei, so fingers crossed we should be good. So far, I've managed to get the brakes are on here. So we're running. These are Zoom 4-piston calipers. At the front, we've got a 203mm disc. Is it that side, isn't it? Yeah. So lovely and big disc. Hopefully that stops it overheating. I found that carrying the extra weight, the braking system just wasn't up to it. The only thing I'm not liking is this stand.
Martin 69 says, "Ola, your whole day went quick."
It did go very quick, mate, and I've had sickness and diarrhea twice now, and really, really not enjoying that part. So yeah, it's just this custom bike build now. So we've got bigger discs to slow us down. This stand, as I said, I'm not quite liking it. It's a bit cheap. We'll see how it does. The only thing I'm trying to do at the moment, oh, there goes the timer. Hopefully that mucks about. I've got to get the chain on here. I don't know if this needs, does this need to go a certain way? I don't know if these are different. But yeah, the holiday went really, really quick, mate. It looks the same both ways. I was wondering if they had to be a certain way round. But yeah, this is the complete custom build bike. So we'll see how this goes. Tell you what, let's clean the crank before we do this. This crank's looking a bit dirty. We'll give that crank a quick clean. I've got a couple of brushes here. Let's use the wire brush.
Martin 69 says, "Every time I saw you again, I missed your live."
Oh, on holiday. It did go really quick, mate. It was good fun though. We had a good time, apart from the sickness. Right, let's clean that off.
Martin 69 says YH.
Yeah, it was the boat trip. I need to make some content. I need someone to be in it. I need someone who's got time on my YouTube, on my Twitch to do some editing for me. Is that going down on its own? I think it's slowly working its way down. What do you want? What? You can come in. Come on in. Bloody, she's annoying. She is the cat. Yes, just trying to get this built for. Trying to work out what's going to go where. I'm like, which way should I load it? Should I load it this way or that way? Or it's been a while since I've done it. I'm trying to get my head around it. So it's got to go over that. Through there.
Martin 69 says don't ask me, it will be out of date by the time I done it.
Well, this is a bit mismatched, mate, to be quite honest. The frame, as I said, I've had this frame since I was 18 here. I'll try and turn it sideways so you can actually see the bike. Where are they? Shit, where have I put that? Have I put it on here? No, that was too big. Yeah, some of it's a bit out of date, but that don't fit either. Fucking hell. How small is that hole? Is that the one or is it this one? This got to be this one. No, it's not that one. What one is it? What one's the adjuster? Oh, that's the back and forward one. Okay, so it's got to be this one. There we go. So you've got two adjusters. You've got a high and a low, and it's to show where the lowest point is. It's like a preset, so the chain can't come off. So it's just getting that adjusted in line with where it needs to be. Probably about there. And then the chain comes round. I'm hoping this is all going to fit.
Martin 69 says pick not very clear.
Pick not very clear. Okay, mate. I'll fix it in a minute. Bear with me. So I don't know if this is how this is going to fit or how the gears are going to fit or anything at the moment. So it's a little bit.
Martin 69 says it's okay now.
Oh, okay. It shouldn't be on autofocus. Let's have a look. Is it on autofocus? I'll just check. Focus mode. Continuously autofocus. Yeah, they are. It's on autofocus. That's why. Yeah, if it's on autofocus, it will constantly go in and out, and sometimes it zooms in and then gets stuck. Oh, where have I put the tool? down the floor. So yeah, I just need to make sure this is going to fit all the way around. I possibly got too much chain on that. That's the chain they gave me. Might have to, gonna need to use lose a few links out of that, I think. Look, but then at the same time, if we go to the big cog, I'm on the big cog. Let's see what happens if I go to the real big cog. I want to make sure I can use every gear on here if possible. I'm not sure how that's going to be possible. Which side am I? This side, yeah. Oops. So here's the problem I've got. That's got to go all the way up to there, and I'm not sure how I'm going to stretch that to keep that out the way. I think I'm going to have to wind that right back. No, wrong Allen key. This is a bit more of a complicated setup than I had before. No, that's too big. It must be that one. I'm hoping that's going to work. Again, I've not used this rear cog is so big. When we was doing the jog, I needed more lower gears, so let's hope that this will solve the problem. More gear ratio will definitely come in, but it's making sure that, yeah, I can take a bit out of that. Look, oh, we've gone in the spokes. That's not good. We don't want to be in the spokes. We want to be on the rear cog. Oh, you little fucker, get out of there. We need it on there like that.
Says hi all.
Hi Katie, welcome in. I'm trying to work out how much chain I need for this build. Now, you shouldn't use big cog to big cog really, but I want to make sure that I've got enough in case I want to do it.
Martin 69 says at Katya Sour Harrow.
That is a really big cog, isn't it? Look at it. Look at the size of it.
Martin 69 says that's what she pulled last night.
Yeah, it's that one there that needs a bit of adjusting. So yeah, big cog to big cog is definitely not going to work. There's not enough. There's not enough chain for that, even if I was to bring that more forward. But it's trying to find the best. I don't know where the best adjustment's going to be for it. Middle cog. Let's have a look at middle cog. Little fucker. Basically, if I'm on the small cog, I won't have enough, or have too much chain. I can't get rid of the chain unless I had a second tensioner, and I don't think you can do that.
Coupon Cup says, what gear ratio have you got on back?
Oh, fucking hell. Have I damaged the car? That's a 11 to 42. I normally have 11 to 32, but this is 42. So when I'm carrying so much weight on this, I need to get some more gear ratios.
Martin 69 says, can't you get a longer chain?
Now the chain's long enough, but it's just not. I can't get rid of the excess on the lower gears. So I'm just having a look. As I said, I haven't built a bike in many years. I've never gone to a 42 on the back. So this is a bit of a. I wanted to keep the 3 on the front because I'm a off-road and road. So I'm just looking to see what I can get. See, that's on the middle cog, that's fine. But if I go to the smaller one, I've then got too much chain when I go to the bottom. I want to get as many gears as I can because I want to be able to use the big cog for when I'm cruising on the road downhill, so I can keep the momentum on the speed on the flats. The rest of the time I'll be riding on the middle cog, and then obviously when I'm going off road and we've got hills, I'll be going to the small cog on the front and the large one on the back, so I can just wind it up the hills. But I don't want to lose. I want a bike that can do road use and off-road use, rather, you know what I mean? So it's the best of both worlds. So it's a cruiser as well as an off-road bike. I hate these new mountain bikes that they've all got. Let's move that over so I don't break my car. They've all got one sprocket on the front and really low ratios on the back, which is great if you're just off-road. But as soon as you get on the road, well, 25 mile an hour. But at the moment, that's a good setup. The chain's perfect for that. But that's on the middle sprocket. The problem I've got is when I go to the small sprocket, I've then got too much chain. So let's go down. See there, I'm fine there, but as soon as I go down to the small cog, I've then got too much chain, and I don't think this is going to take. It's not going to be able to take any more. Right, you look after them. Don't lose them. Can I clip this together? It's got a lot of this rear mech's got a lot of tension on it. Wow. There we go. Will that hold? This is the setup that they've sent it out with. They sent it out with this chain for this setup, so it was a kit. I'll have to push that in for the time being, but as I said, when I go into the small cog, I've then got too much. Where's my screwdriver bit? There we go.
Tesmelly's 91 says we're back.
Welcome back. Oh, you little fucker. Really?
Party Martin 69 says that Tesmelly's 91 Ola.
Yeah, see, this push. Can I push it in a bit more? No, it is in there enough. Fuck's sake. There's so, like, literally, there's so much tension on this chain. But as I said, if I take it off the big cog, I can lose the tension. But then I think I'm going to end up with too much chain. As I said, I might have to buy a new crank for it. Unless there's a system I can get that gives me... Because I can't... When I'm on the small cog at the front and I'm on the small one at the back, I'm going to have too much chain, I think. Unless there's some kind of tension system I can get to set up so it takes extra tension out my chain. Unless I just go for 2 on the front. But I don't really want to lose the... I don't really want to lose the big one. Where's the cable? I've got a cable tie.
Cassiopeia Games says hi old man.
Hello, hello. Welcome in.
Two Fun Cup says there's a screw on the back of the derailleur. Pushes the derailleur away from the cassette.
Okay, I'll literally... I think I've done that to push it back. To take up more chain, yeah? To basically push it back more. That's what I was trying, but I think when I go to the... If I go for the small, I've then got too much chain. But it's just about right when I'm at the other end. I am stretching it to go for a 42 on the rear. I did know this would be an issue, but a 32 just wasn't cutting it.
69 says at Cassiopeia Games, hello.
Welcome, Cass. How you doing? Yeah, it just wasn't cutting it with a 32. I was getting off and walking a lot of the time because I couldn't manage the hills. Right, let me get another zip tie. I've done over tightened that one. Where's my cutters? Yeah, I'm much better. So we got back from Zante and we've all had sickness and diarrhea. So for anyone going to Zante or has been to Zante, it's been adventurous. I will do the adjustment. I'm just going to get a zip tie and put through it just so I can stop this fucking thing flying off. Yeah. I don't think the cable tie is long enough. This is what I do on motorbike chains anyway. Motorbike chains I always used to put a zip tie through them and then adjust them afterwards. No, it's not long enough, going to need 2. But yeah, bikes have changed so much. Just like even the mech, the rear derailleur, the way that they've manufactured them so much neater now. The way the cable comes in, the way that it pulls back, just the way they've kind of, just homed the idea of how they worked and made them so much better. This has got a clutch in it. Can you tell me what a clutch does in the rear mech? I've never had one, but apparently this has got a clutch in it. And I'm like, what does that do? Because I've never had one of them before. It's all new. I'm sure I'll learn as I go along, but just need to hold this in the right position. There we go. For fuck's sake. I can't get in there now. This is really pissing me off. Motorbike chains, I can get my bigger tool in. Mountain bike one, you can't. As soon as I squeeze it, it wants to fly apart. Oh, welcome. Thank you for the follow-on kick. It's Shimano Dior. It was a 10x3 set. And I'm hoping... Are we back again? It just said it disconnected.
That's really nice. Says yes.
There we go, come down a few. Yeah, see down here, it's down here, and on the bottom cog, and I've got too much chain. Almost. Yeah, I ordered it from China, so to buy this set in the UK was going to cost me a small fortune. But I managed to get it from AliExpress for a lot cheaper, so I'm not sure if it's going to be any good. I think it's one of those we'll have to see how it goes. Right, I don't want to put that in properly yet. I just want to see if it works. So I'll leave that out. But I don't know if you can see this, the size of this rear carrier. This is made to carry between 15 and 20 kg, I hope. And I have 2 pannier bags, my tent and everything else on there. But it's just the sheer weight. Now, most of the time when I'm cycling, yeah, see, look how much chain slack I've got. So if you buy a touring bike or a mountain bike, I prefer suspension because I like when I go off road, you've got that little bit of give on the front forks. So I decided to use a mountain bike. The problem is the front carrier clamps onto the bottom of the forks. So whether you've got suspension or if you've got no suspension on the front, it was a top peak carrier. It clamps onto the bottom of the forks. I had 2 pannier bags and all my waterproofs on the front pannier. Just that weight alone made the front steering so heavy, it was really awkward to handle the bike. Then you had the amount of weight I had on the rear. I broke bolts on the carrier that go to the frame just because of the sheer weight. When you hit a bump, it just sheared the bolts. I then broke spokes. I collapsed the rear wheel bearing just because of the weight I'm carrying. So this is why I've gone for the Tito Halo wheels, which have got a sealed bearing in them. They've got 4 bearings in the rear wheel, 2 bearings in the front. You can get, these are quick release, but you can get through axle types. I think these are through axles with an adapter. So these should hopefully carry the extra weight. They're also 36 spoke, so we've got more spokes, better bearings. The carrier is completely independent from the rear suspension, so my rear suspension is here. This is mounted to the frame and to the rear seat post, so we can carry the weight independent of the rear suspension. On the front of the bike, I'm going to go for like a big basket, and I'm just going to put all of my stuff in it, like a postman bike. But yeah, I can't go all the way down at the moment. If we go all the way down, I think it's this side, I've now got too much chain. And I don't think it's going to matter how much we put this back. I don't think I'm going to be able to use all the gears. Where's my adjuster? Even if I bring all this all the way back, I don't think I'm going to use all the gears. Might be able to. I think that's all. Oh, no worries, Cass. Thanks for coming in. I'm putting it all the way in. Let's have a look, see if this does it. We're nearly there. I think that's it. That's as far back as we can get it. Yeah, it rubs on itself a little bit. Only a little bit. I don't think there's any other adjustment we can do to get rid of that. But to be quite honest, I wouldn't be using that one anyway. I would probably go up on the front. I'd probably be using that one. And then let's test the alignment of this one. What's the alignment? Probably about there, I suppose. That's probably about right. It's not even using that cog. That cog is completely not being used. Does that actually matter? It's not even using that one. I think I've stretched it to the absolute limits. It's just going straight down to that one. No, so they didn't do the crank as the kit. So this is off of an old e-bike. I'm looking at getting the Shimano Dior crank set. The Shimano Dior crank set, they do a 2 or they do a 3. Now, if I was to go for the 2, it would be okay because you'd have like the lower one and your middle one, but I still want the big one. As I said, for when I'm on downhill sections and I really want to get some power, I can go to my. This is a 40 tooth front chainring, so I go to my 40 on the front. I think it's a 40. I think it was a 40. I'm sure it said 40 tooth. So yeah, it's a 42 front chainring, and then I use that on the straights. But if this doesn't work, I might have to go to just a 40. I think this is a 22, a 32, and a 40, or maybe it's a 20, 30, 40. But I know that they do I think it's a 22 and a 32 you can get on the front, so I might just have to go slightly smaller, but we'll see how it goes. If I can make this work, at the end of the day, as long as in my head I know there's certain gears I can't use, I just won't use them. The reason I wanted 3 was because I've now gone from 11 to 42, I've not got as many, the steps are a bit bigger, so what I can do, if I go to say like the middle one and it's too much, I can always go up or down one on the front just to adjust it. So that's why I wanted a 3 on the front, so it just gives me that little bit more of adjustment in the middle, if it's too much or too less. But yeah, it's a kind of, I want something they don't sell. So if you want to carry weight, you buy a cargo bike. If you want to do touring, you buy a touring bike. If you want to do racing or gravel, you buy a gravel bike, mountain bike for off-road. I want something that's like an all-rounder. I want a cargo bike which I can cruise with, but then I can go, oh, I'm in the middle of Scotland, I haven't got any roads, I need to go down this trail and I can ride along the trails. The problem with the trails was they were so bumpy. When you're fully loaded with all your touring equipment, you can't ride very fast over the bumps. You're taking it really easy because you don't want to wreck your bike. I was using a Specialized rock hopper, which was carrying the whole bike fully loaded was 42 kg. Yo, Tiggy, how you doing, mate? So I'm trying to build something they don't make. I want an all-round bike. It's a bit like driving a Land Rover Defender or like an off-road vehicle. I want something that can be used on and off-road, but isn't like an all-in package. And they just don't make it.
32 up front with me anyway.
Oh, okay. Yes, I've never really got into it. As I said, this mountain bike would have originally been 3 on the front, and it would have been 7 or 8 on the back, maybe back then. Because I was 18, I think. I'm 46 now, so you know what I mean. It's getting on a bit. The stand as well, making sure it's got a double stand, because when it's carrying all the weight, single stand's just bent. So I need a better double stand, but this isn't very strong. I need a proper one. I need a company that makes a really, really good stand. This doesn't fold up very high either. Look, it's really close to the ground, but it's also very close to the chain. I'm going to try and fold this out and get a little bit more clearance if I can. Let's see if we can go all the way up. I don't think we can go all the way up though. I don't think there's enough chain. So I can go all the way up, look. Just. What one do we wind in? That one? No. That one. Which one am I winding? There we go. I was worried that this crank wouldn't work with it. As I said, it is a bit stretched, but when you're not going to use, I'm never going to really use the 2 big ones. It mostly goes on the middle. It's just obviously when you use the little ones at the back. Right, that's not going all the way down. Why is that not going all the way down? Which one do I adjust? Yeah, I'll flip it over in a minute and try and show you the once I've got these gears set up. Excuse me. So yeah, we're mostly going to be using the middle one. It'll only be when I get to the hills and stuff I'll be using the other one. So right. A bit of adjustment needed there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It does go on to that last one. I said I'm not actually using the last because I think I've tightened it up too much. Yeah, so when I'm down the gears, if we go down to that one, and then we go down to the small one, I've now kind of got too much chain, but we should be alright. I think we can use them. As long as when I get to a hill, I can whack it into that one there, which is super low. When you're carrying 42 kg of weight, it was just so heavy. I was struggling to push the bike uphill sometimes. I need to cut that. Let's get that gear. Let's get that adjusted properly. I'll get that cut off and get an end put on it. What gear are we on? Let's go to the middle one. Right. Let's loosen this off. Cool. Right, where's my pliers? Old age is setting in and my legs are burning. Try and But all the bike shops I was talking to were all telling me the same thing. Like, oh no, you want a touring bike? I'm like, no, I don't want a touring bike. I'd break it. Because as soon as you're on a touring bike and it's fully loaded and I'm going down a footpath and I hit tree roots, I'm either going to buckle the rim, I'm going to take the rip the tyre because I'm just going to hit the rim with it, and all the shock just goes straight through the frame and all the weight just breaks everything, so your carriers and everything else break.
Your front crankshaft is triple.
Yes, my front crankshaft is triple, yes. Why is it not breaking, that wire? That should just cut through it. What's going on with you? Right, hang on, I need to put a cable thing on that. Where's my cable ends? Yeah, as I said, I want my middle one for everyday use on the flat. When I'm going up really steep hills, as I said, this is on-road or off-road, I can go to the small one and I can wind it up the hills. What I'll do, I'll load the bike up in a minute and I'll show you what I mean. Well, they do a free. No, I can use all of them. I can use all of them, which is just about. Let's put this cable end on. I said 42 is only because of the sheer weight I'll be carrying. Should we just use that to clamp that? I think we will. Really?
Sponges says, yeah, you did show me that you had a lot of extra chain.
I don't know if it's going to do it. That'll do. I don't like them cable ends anyway. It's only to stop it doing something. What's the clutch do? Does anyone know what the clutch does? It's got a clutch on it apparently, but I've never used one with a clutch. The only reason I went for the better equipment is when you buy the cheap stuff. I'll try and show you what I mean. The difference between the cheap stuff and the good stuff. Anyone who's a mountain biker, you'll know this. So here is the cheap set. And what you can see, it's held together with these cheap pop rivets, and the metal is very, very thin. And because it's held together with pop rivets and it's very thin, these are not all the way through. And what happens is the thin metal wears and they start to play. And then when you get play, so this is Ultrus, right? This is basically, these are about 12 quid each. They start to flex. Now, at the moment, that's not too bad. But if I go sideways on that already, I can feel the sideways movement, and that's what happens to cheap mechs. They wear out really quickly, and it's basically after, I don't know, 1,000 miles, throw it away, just put a new one on. Don't muck about, because your gears just keep, the chain goes up and down like this, it keeps catching up. Why my gears keep like jamming and jumping? It's because the mech's worn out. When you buy the more expensive stuff, it's got solid pins, and they've almost been like a bushing.
To keep your chain more stable, especially on rough terrain.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So when I built we built this for my son. Here, I'll show you this. We built this for my son out of a cheap Chinese e-bike. I bought this on eBay, and we built this. And this is just, we call it Frankenstein's monster. Here, I'll try and shorten it so I can show you. With a suspension and that, and basically we just strapped the battery on the top and we built this material. This is fun. This is a good fun. But again, this has only got cheap bits on it. It's got I put the 4-pot zoom. The zoom stuff's actually pretty good. I've been using this over the Shimano stuff. I've done the same to this. So this has got the zoom 4-pots on it as well. You can buy. Is it? Oh, what's the really? Is it Melegra? Is it 7s or 5s? But they're really expensive, and I haven't got that kind of money, and it's only for road use. So yeah, I've got these, and I've been using them for ages, and I quite like them. I think these are about 50 quid for a set. 203mm front disc on the front. I couldn't go oversize on the rear because I had to put this didn't come with discs. This was a V-brake frame. Got an adapter on here which has converted it, but the problem is there's not much clearance here for a disc, so I can't really go much bigger. I'll have to see what happens. I need to degrease it as well. There's grease everywhere on that frame. But every bike shop I've spoke to said, "Oh no, you want this," and I'm like, "No, I don't want that. This is what I'm trying to build," and they just don't make it. So I'm like, right, we'll build it and we'll see how it goes. We'll do Scotland. What are we waiting for? Christmas? Oh.
Nexus says, what do we have here?
What do we have here? We have a death trap, and hopefully it's going to make it to Scotland and back. It makes the ride a bit more fun for you guys anyway, because we never know if we're going to make it. Oh, the Golf. Oh, oh yeah, the Golf. The Golf is mint. The Golf's my little toy. Why won't this push in? It pops out. It's not pushing in. It's a 1988 Mark 1 Golf Cabriolet with a VR6 engine in it. Yeah, my tool's not working properly. I might as well just put a quick link in it. My quick links will be quicker. I might just do a quick link. I can get the chain off when I'm riding then. Yeah, it's a supercharged VR6. Yeah, I'll try and lift up the bonnet. I'll move the bike over so you can have a look. There you go. There's my little baby.
Nexus says one of mate's got a VR6 Jetta. Giggity Sponges says my tool's not fitting in, says Clive.
Yeah, my tool's not fitting.
Nextness says G.
Yeah, she's a beast.
Chisholm says wow.
Yeah, she's definitely a beast. It's nice to have loads of people coming in as well. I'm actually a streamer and I cycle for charity, so all of my streams are.
Nextness says how much she making.
I think she's about 300 around the. There's something wrong with it though. I think one of my injectors, two of my injectors, maybe one of them's playing about. So when you turn it over, she hydro locks herself, and then she backfires. So I think one of them's getting jammed open. Yeah, she's front wheel drive only. She's running 225 45 15 Toyo Proxies. Yeah, she's fun to drive. But then on top of that, what I've done, for anyone who's into cars, she revved out a bit too quick. So she's only a 5-speed. We couldn't convert her to 6. So what we done, we took the gearbox apart because you can't change the gearbox. The gearbox, the shell or the casing only fits the VR6 engine. So the only option you've got is to change the internals. You can't change first and second because they are set. You can only change the of all the gears by the final drive. So what we done, we got a diesel box, we got third, fourth and fifth, we put them in and then we changed the final drive from the diesel box. So now she's got first and second, which is now first and a half, second and a half, so they're slightly longer further up, and then third, fourth and fifth are out of a diesel. To give you a kind of an idea, you change into fifth at 130 mile an hour. The gearbox goes off the clock. She does 160. I backed off at 160. So yeah, she's a bit of a scary old girl to drive. But yeah, she's fun. She's definitely a fun car.
Nextness says fifth gear at 130. Nextness says are you sick, mate? Nextness says WTF.
So the problem was she was really quick. 300 brake horsepower is stupidly quick. When you lengthen the gears, 300 brake horsepower becomes 200 brake horsepower because now you've lengthened the gears, you lose acceleration. So it's kind of that, what did you want the car to do? So yeah, it's 300 brake, but because of the longer gears, it takes a longer time to get there. So on the drag strip, not very good, rubbish. But if I was on the Autobahn and you overtake me in your, I don't know, whatever it might be at 130 mile an hour, be warned, I will be catching you. And then I'll go past and just keep accelerating. It's crazy. I don't know why you'd want to cruise at that kind of speed, but I wanted a car that could cruise at high speeds with low revs. 60 mile an hour, I'm doing 2,000 revs. And it's the sound that comes out the back of this. I couldn't afford a Lamborghini Countach. I fell in love with the Lamborghini Countach as a child, the Cannonball Run. Anyone who doesn't know the Cannonball Run, search up Cannonball Run starting scene and you'll hear that lovely purr of that Lamborghini Countach engine. The VR6 is not quite a Lamborghini Countach, but this is straight through. It's got a resonator box and a cherry bomb. And when you go through tunnels, it's the nearest I could get to being able to afford something.
Says we know the Cannonball Run.
Yeah. So for anyone who's into their cars, but yeah, the rest of the stream is about, as I said, about the bike. It's about building this for my cycle route next year. We done a ride last year, and that was pretty good. Do you know something? The Golf is the most. Whatever stream I do, if this car is in the stream, I get follows. They don't follow because of the stream. They follow because of the car. Yeah, that's what I said. If people see the car, people always come in and say hello. It's as I've said many times to my regulars. I haven't got a pair of boobs, but if this is in the stream, it's as good. Car porn is better than boob porn. For me, anyway, as a streamer. If you haven't got the looks, buy a Golf. Ugh. Like
says what cycle tour you doing and what charity you donating to.
Oh, so if you do exclamation mark socials or exclamation mark JustGiving, I raise money for Great Ormond Street Hospital, which is a children's hospital in London. Cycling for me is personal fitness and mental health.
Says Haven't got much interest in cycling, but always worth learning something new.
So for me, I lost my parents, both my parents and my job within the space of 2 years. I was suffering from mental health. I think as guys, we don't really want to talk about it. And I collapsed. It hit me really hard. I had a massive panic attack. And from that, it kind of opened my eyes that sometimes we need to kind of get things off our chest. So for me, from being a game streamer, that's how I started streaming. I wanted to change that. So now, if people are struggling, getting outside can be a fix for us. Yeah.
Nextness says sorry for your loss, man.
That's right, dude. We're talking 4 years ago now. But if you get out and about, so I found places on the bike I've never ever found before, and cycling through some of the. You don't have to be a cyclist. For me, I'm not really your average lycra cyclist. I do wear cycling gear, but I just use a bike because you can get to places you can't in a car. I hate walking. Walking's boring. And I've got bad knees. So for me, cycling was kind of a thing. But I cycled from Land's End to John O'Groats, which is the whole entire length of the UK. I met some amazing people on the journey. We raised money for Great Ormond Street Hospital, and it was just so much of a laugh. And I live streamed it. All the streams are on YouTube. If you go to my YouTube channel, Clive's Adventures, you can flick through any of the bits and pieces and the shenanigans.
You enjoy the adventures the bikes take you on.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's taking the stream on the adventures as well. It's been great. You know, I mean, we've made some new friends. We've even got people we've met on the street to become streamers. Yeah, depending on what platform you're on. If the bot doesn't work, if it's not working on the platform you're on, please let me know. All the links do work on Twitch because Twitch is my main platform. All of the integration, so you won't have any music on Kick or YouTube. If you're watching on Twitch, you have music and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it just depends where you're watching. Oh, okay, mate. Well, if you haven't already, I said I stream on both. I'd like to get music on Kick as well.
Take the ferry ahead and take me from behind.
Nice. But yeah, it's going to take a little while to set that up. But YouTube keep giving me copyright infringements when I play music over there, so hence why there's no music on that platform. But I hate it when you want to do something and you can't buy what you want. And that was the problem with this. So right, if I flip this over now, see if I can flip this over now. We haven't got the chain fully on, but I don't want to hit the golf. Now you can probably see. Can you see how high the handlebars on this now? The handlebars are stupidly high because I was fed up with bending over. But the whole idea is. Now this bag is really, really heavy. What size is that for? Is that for this side or that side? I think. Is it that side? I can't remember which way round they go.
Nextness says Yo'll give you a follow on Instagram. If you can toss me the link to the charity you're donating to, I'll happily share it on my page. I've got a fair few supporters on there.
Oh, okay, mate. If you go to my socials on that webpage on Linktree, everything should be on there. If you go there, you'll see the live stream. When you go to my website, so !socials, click the link. That takes you to my website. You'll see a little video pop up. Close that. Everything on my following socials is all on there. So click Instagram and you can follow, have a look at the car, that kind of thing. I'm trying to get the social media better.
Gave you a follow on Insta.
Oh, thank you, dude. But again, I'm finding it very, very difficult to keep up with all the social media stuff. It's a little bit overpowering trying to keep with family life and building this and everything else. It's doing my nutting. I need to kind of get on top of it. So yeah, if you have a look at the amount of weight that's carrying, so you've got, let's get the handlebars round so it's not, the bike's probably going to fall over. Let me get the weight. I'll show you what I mean about the amount of weight this thing carries. Right, so that's one bag. Then you've got the other one.
Nextness says, yeah, no worries, mate. The socials aren't going anywhere.
Oh, right. Right, so then you've got all of the other stuff that kind of piles on top. So you've got that, you've got my mattresses, you've got sleeping bags, you've even got a table, but I don't know where the table's gone. So by the time you've got all of this on top, look, you see what I mean about the amount of weight you're carrying on a bike, and that's why I needed suspension, because you've got probably, 2 kg there, you've got another 2 kg with that's the tarp, you've got my mattress, you've got my bedding, then you've got a pillow that's got to go on as well. So by the time you carry all this weight, it's just stupidly heavy. And then the idea is, I don't know how we're going to mount this. We got this to go on the front. Now this is made out of steel. I need to get one of these made out of aluminium, and this is going to be mounted, not that you can see it, to the front of the bike, and that's going to carry all of my other bits and pieces I need, and then it will be completely independent of my steering, and hopefully fix the problem of not being able to steer, because I went in a few bushes last year. And this is why I live stream it, because when I fall off, this lot make clips of it, all my regulars. Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, when I was kind of going around corners, and when you've got all the weight on the steering, you try and steer, you can't compensate, and you just fall off, and it got a little bit kind of a little bit too often, because this lot were just making clips every day because I was falling off a lot. So hopefully.
Good stuff, Bud says I like the wheels.
The other thing, when you make clips, only the subs can make clips on my Twitch channel. When I lose 4G signal, it goes back to the video player, and the video player is all the clips from all of the things that have happened on the streams. So it's kind of a community thing, really. It's been amazing anyway. But there's people from all over the world that have been tuning in and following and supporting me. But the other good thing I like is whenever I upload my Strava and we do different bits and pieces, all of the maps are on the charity. So when you go to the charity website on my JustGiving, it shows you all the places we've been, so people can support me on the different rides. But yeah, this carrier, as I said, it's completely custom built by me. Fingers crossed, it's just made out of pieces of aluminium tubing, and I'm hoping there's enough strength there to carry it this year. Fingers crossed, because it is a bit of a made in your garage kind of bike. But sometimes I think they're the best, aren't they? The ones you make yourself.
Lexnet says it should hold up.
That's the other thing I like, that with this stand I can actually test. So on the road I can actually adjust my gears without having to get someone else to hold the bike up, which is quite nice. But yeah, that stand is on its longest setting. I don't know if that's going to hold the bike. I would like one that's a bit stronger, because that's made out of aluminium and plastic. Actually, we need to test whether it's going to... We need to flip the bike up, and we need to test whether it's going to hit the stand when it's in the big cog, because that's the other thing that could happen. We're going to hit the car? Hopefully not. So when we're on the big cog, is it going to hit the stand? Oh, it could do. I think. No, it nearly hits the stand. It's just missing the stand. The other thing I was worried about was because they don't make anything, they have to make the custom bike parts, or any bike parts you buy that are universal. They might fit your bike okay, but they might not fit mine. It's kind of a hit and miss. So we was wondering if to get like little bits welded onto the frame, like get the frame so it has a flat surface for when we mount the stand and to stop more issues kind of thing. I think it's slightly one-sided. I think I'm all right, just. I need to get some flatter pedals. As I said, this crank is not the one. I don't really want to use this. This is just a cheap one off of an e-bike, but it does the job. Yeah, look, it is hitting. So in that middle one, it's hitting the stand just. Yeah, there, look, it's just brushing on the stand. It's aluminium, it'll work. But that's only if it's on the big cog. If we're on the middle one, which is the one I'm going to be on most of the time, and then what will happen most of the time is I'll be on the middle cog, so I'll be on middle and the small one on the back when I'm going down a hill, and then what I'll do, I'll go up to the big one just to give me a bit more speed, and then I'll drop back to the middle one before I go back up the gears. I'll barely use it, you know what I mean? It's just when you're on the flat and you want to give it the power. So I think we're good for the range, but what a range. That's a good range on it. The only thing I'm stuck with now is how to make this front bit. I'm not sure how to do that. Right, let's get this chain. Let's get this chain done. I can't find the. Where is it? Where's the join? Oh, there it is. There. My tool's not working because when I try and push the chain in, it's popping out of the. It's not holding in the tool. No, it's popping out. It's only one of these specialised tools, you know, like the all-in-one. I'm not sure where the original one's gone. I used to do it with a hammer. That's how I used to do it. Right, that has pushed it in anyway.
One of my mates at work has got one of those multi-purpose tools and he lives by them for some reason.
I've carried that one with me on every journey I've done, and it's been such a good little tool. So the specialised one's pretty good. Like, I don't think there's anything on it I don't use. Like you got the chain tool. You can unplug this bit, which is is an Allen key, and it's a screwdriver. And don't get me wrong, like the screwdriver bit's not the best, but I've been using this now for probably 4 or 5 years, and it's got me out of everything. Like, it has got pretty much everything you could need on it. The only thing I do find, sometimes these Allen keys are not long enough. So I had an issue on the ride we was just on last year, or this year, I keep saying last year, when we done Land's End to John O'Groats. And I'll tell you the issue I had once I've got this back in. Bear with me. You've got spoke keys and all sorts of things on this. Hang on. Let's just get... Hello, Banny Bo. this was the Allen key I needed, but it was inside a carrier, and the carrier was kind of recessed, and that wasn't long enough to get in the hole. Thankfully, I had another kit with me. It was about that much too short. So
I also do paint correction and detailing.
oh, you've got.
Says a Kickety Sponges, hello.
Hello, Banny Bo. Welcome in, mate. Yeah, when it comes to customs, I love making stuff that no one else has got.
Banny Bo says Clive, you were live on YouTube the other night.
I know. I left it live on purpose. I was doing some testing. I wanted to see because so the problem is I'm not very good at advertising. I'm not very good at editing. Now the world we live in at the moment.
Says a really big hammer fixes everything long.
Yeah, it does.
Says greetings, bike friends.
Greetings. Yeah, I'm not very good at video editing. I hate it. So I like to live stream. What I really need is a team of people doing some video editing for me, making the social media posts and that, and then more people would know the stream exists. And all I wanted really was a place where people can hang out, you guys have a good laugh, take the piss out of me falling off, give me a good shout when I lose energy, because when I was cycling, sometimes when you're in the valleys and hills, you bottom out. You've got no energy left, and I really struggled on some of them. And if it wasn't for you guys on the stream supporting me and calling me an idiot and telling me I could do it, I probably wouldn't have done it. So yeah, and that's all it's been about for me, really. And then along the way, if we raise some money for kids' charities, it's all good. But yeah, welcome in. If you've not been here before, I'm Clive. This is Clive's Adventures. You're either going to see car-related stuff, you're either going to bike-related stuff, or gaming, really, or just sitting around talking rubbish like we always do. Yeah, but he's also busy, mate. The thing is, it's like a lot of people have got real jobs, and it's very difficult to kind of find time amongst that to do other things. But yeah, I will be taking this out for a test ride. We've got some goodies to put on it though. Cup holders. So I've gone for these. These are made by Rhino Walk. I got these for £1.20 each. Actually, they're actually lined. Now I use these on the ride we done this year for putting food and stuff in. You don't have to use these for push bikes. You could use them for putting drinks in a car if you can hang them on something. But what I like about them is they're lightweight, and they've got lots of pockets for putting rubbish and lighters and just bits and pieces when you're riding along.
I used to manage a shop and do builds and repairs. DMI Tricuprianov says, is the chain rubbing the kickstand or just looks like it from the camera angle? Nando says, happy to help.
It doesn't rub the kit. It does in one gear, but it's fine. It's only rubbing if you're on the big cog, and it's got 3 on the front, 10 on the back. So I've gone for the biggest range. So we're going from 11 to 42 on the rear. On the front, I think we're going from 20 to 30. I think it was. No, 20 to 40. So it's 20, 30, 40 on the front on this. I think it might be 22, 32, 40. I'm not sure. Let's have a look. I can't really see what the range is. Oh, yeah, I think it might be, I don't know, it's quite small. Yeah, there's a big jump. From the little one to the middle one, there's quite a big jump. So I think it might be a 22 or 24, 34, 40 is what it looks like. But I couldn't go any bigger than 40 on the front because of the 42 on the rear. But when we cycled Land's to John O'Groats back in May, the problem I had was I only had a 32 on the rear. Same amount of teeth on the front on the other bike I was riding. That was a Specialized rock hopper. And on some of the hills, I was carrying 42 kg fully loaded with all my pannier bags. And I had to get off and push it. And it was really, really hard work. So I've decided for this time, I want a really, really big cog on the back. So when we get to some of the hills, I can just take my time, no rush, and I can just wind my way up them without putting too much effort in. And then at the same time, when I'm on the flats, I've got the bigger cog, so I can really put some effort in, and we can push it. I like to have a bike that's kind of mixed. Oh, that's the back one. We don't want to do the back one. We'll do the front one. Is that going to fit in there? The reason I've used this crank is because it's got a chain guard on it. And the one thing, I love some of the expensive cranks, but I always find they don't always come with a chain guard. And the chain guard saved my clothes and my waterproofs when I was cycling Land's End to John O'Groats. Right, so now we've done all of that, we've done the chain. The next thing we've got to do is the front bit. Let's not hit the car. Ooh, right. Let's put the stand down. The reason I've got the double stand is so it stands up properly. Now, if you have a look here, you can see I've got the raised handlebars, but I've also got a spacer here. Now, the reason for that is we're going to design something like a cargo bike. And this is going to be mounted on here, like that. So that's going to be carrying all of my tents and my sleeping bags and everything else I could possibly need, with all the weight on the back as well. This is made of steel. Really, I would prefer it made of something else, but we were going to try and raise this because somehow I need to triangulate it to the bottom bit. So I'm not sure how I'm going to mount this at the moment, but it needs to be welded onto a bracket on here, and then it also needs a bracket welded on there, and all these cables need extending as well. So that's kind of the idea for it. Now, a lot of people would have it this way, but then that stops me getting through some of the bike places. In the UK, it's a bit awkward to get through some of the footpaths. They have width restrictions. Now, I know if I have that on that way, I can just get it through. But this is so the handlebars and the wheel are completely independent from the weight. The last ride I'd done, all the weight was on here and on the front of the wheel, and it was so tiring. So I'm going for something that is really jacked up. The seating position, like when I'm sitting on this, let's have a look. When you're doing long distance, the one thing I found was here's the suspension, was leaning forward a lot of the time. So this, I'm almost upright. So I'm not leaning forward. My shoulders were hurting. I've got bad wrists and bad elbows. So having it jacked up, I've got very, very soft suspension, which I can lock out. And then over the bumps, we can loosen it up again. So I've got this ride it's almost going to float. And then the other thing I struggle with, having the downhill frame, it's easier to get off. When you've got a lot of weight on a bike, when you go to get off it, it wants to fall over. It was almost like riding a motorbike. And some of those other cyclists that I met on the journey, when they looked at the bike and they saw the amount of weight, and they was like, this is like a motorbike weight. Because when you got to there, it was almost you need two people to lift it back up again. It was stupid. So hence why I'm looking at building this. But once I've got this mocked up, I might then go to a metal fabricator, and I want to get them to fabricate something possibly out of aluminium, because as I said, this is made out of steel, and this probably weighs a couple of kg or more. I'm going to cut something out of it. I'm going to cut all this metalwork out the bottom and put a piece of plyboard in it to take some of the weight away, because it doesn't really need all of it. You don't even need this top bar all the way around. I could get away with probably just cutting it off and bending this down and welding it just so I've got the frame to lose a bit of weight. But I've got to work out how to mount this on the frame at the moment, and then all the gear cables have all got to come out the way and bits and pieces. So it's just, yeah, it's in progress of how to make this work. But I've got until next year to kind of mock this up, get it tested, and then we'll go from there. Right, I really need a drink, so I do apologise, everyone, but I need to get up the house and get a drink. Because I haven't drunk anything today, as usual. The microphone's still working. Right. I'll leave the microphone there. I'll leave you in charge of the jukebox mods. If you want to put some tunes on. In a minute I'm going to come back down, and what we need to do, basically we need to put this line on, so that line needs to go on the front. It needs to be lengthened because the brake line's not long enough on the front. So we'll do that. We'll re-bleed the front brake. That sorts that bit out. So yeah, it's getting there. And then
Liberty Sponges says, skip.
Then hopefully we can go out and do
Liberty Sponges
some rides on it.
V7.
Right, back in a minute. Bear with me.
Steam Past Offer says good morning. Giggity Sponges says, V14. Giggity Sponges says, song.
battery on that thing's too heavy. You're getting shorter by the minute. Stretch you all the way up. How high can I get you? Does that work? I can't see until I put the screen on and be able to see how much you can see. Hang on. I'll try and work out this how I'm going to do these brakes. Okay, now why is that not working? Oh, there we go. Now when I undo that, I think liquid's going to go everywhere. Are they an 8? I think they're an 8. Are we still working all right? Is it all good? Bit right. Oh, we're still good. Just doing a test to see if we were still live. Now I'm sure you can undo the brakes on a bike without them leaking. Yeah, you can. Right, undo that one. Right. I hope this is going to work. Can you see everything? I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. Right, where is my new tube? Right, we've got to cut this somehow. Cool. Put that on there. Right, where's my bag of bits? Where's my brake stuff? I need an olive. Right, so we need to get that in there. Get that on there. Where's the spanner? Push that on there. Clean cut. Oh, thank you for the follow on Kick. How are we doing? Welcome in. Need this little tool. Whereabouts you from on Kick? Need an olive. So basically, all I'm doing is lengthening one of the hydraulic lines. When I bought the front brake, it wasn't long enough. Not for what I've done here, so I'm just lengthening it. So just use a tool to do that. Put that on there like that. Put the olive on there like that. Oh, bollocks. I should put the olive on first. I knew I should have done this first. Have I done it too much? No, we're all right. We're good. We're good. We're good. Right. Oh. Where have I put the spanner? Make sure it's all the way in. There was a bit of oil in there, but I'm going to put more back in it. But it's a bit better than it was before. A lot more clearance. So we get that wound back up. Cool. So because it's having a basket thing on the front, hopefully that will come back out the way. So all these cables will push back and still have loads and loads of room. Not sure about that one, but these ones at least. They should then, yeah, they'd be alright. I need some cable channel or something for them to go through, stop them from chafing. The only thing I don't like is this, which is the button for the oh God, what do you call it? The lockout. Where to put the Allen key? This is why I hate being old and having two pairs of glasses, because you put something down and you can see it if it's in front of your face, but if you put it down any further away, you lose it. They can go back in the bag. They can go back in the bag. That's metal. Put it in the metal bin. Just waiting for the mud guards. That's the next bit of the puzzle. How are the mud guards going to fit? Hopefully they're going to clamp on the forks, they're going to miss the brakes, and they're going to fit perfectly. And then the real one will be completely independent from the...
Sir Mix-a-Lot says love that VW looks mint con.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. It's... There's a lot of work and love of work that's gone into that, pretty much as well as the work going into this as well. Everything I build custom, because they never make what you want. So this is a 1988 Mark 1 Golf Cabriolet. It's fully custom. It's basically got a 1996 Mark III Golf VR6 sitting underneath it. So it's got Mark III VR6 engine, which is supercharged. It's got the original gearbox, but we've had the gears lengthened. So it's got third, fourth and fifth out of a diesel box, so it goes up well over 160 top end. The subframe, the drive shafts, all the running gear, power steering, ABS, and even the wiring loom is all Mark III. So the shell itself is the only thing that's really Mark 1. But it's because I wanted the best of both worlds. I wanted a car that would cruise and sound awesome, and also the best of worlds, and it's a cabriolet. So no one cared when I cut it up. If it had been a tin top and I cut that up, everyone would have probably cried at me. And I've lost an Allen key. I had it 2 seconds ago and I've lost it, and I've done that up and then lost it. What platform are you on? I can't see while I'm working. Oh, yeah, it zigzags. If you've got the roof down, because of the chassis twist, the torque steer is crazy. You zigzag up the road. It has got a strut brace. It's got an LSD, which locks up pretty quick, so it does pull in a straight line. But yeah, it's a nightmare. Torque steer. The steering wheel is only a 300mm steering wheel, so it's pretty nasty on your hands. It's not as bad since I lengthened the gears, but it's still bad.
That makes a lot. Says 96 GTI VR6.
Ah, you're from the US then. So in the US you call it a GTI. In the UK, the GTI was only a 1.8 or a 2 litre was the GTI model. The VR6 was a completely different model. But in the US, yeah, you called it the VR6 GTI. To be quite honest, the only difference in the UK between the GTI and the VR6 was the suspension on the VR6 was a lot softer. I don't know about in the US. So if you had the GTI had the hardened suspension, much better for handling, whereas the VR6 in the UK had the same wheels, had slightly wider tyres.
91 Corrado VR6 correct.
Oh, okay. This has got the Corrado radiator in it. It was the only radiator I could fit in it, so there's the Corrado radiator coming out of there. We had to modify the front for the radiator to come out. But apart from that, yeah, she's a beast. It's weird, I get more people coming into my stream over that car than anything else. But yeah, I'm building this. This is a custom bike for my ride next year. I'm cycling the country next year, so I need to build something to do that. And this is what this is for. Apart from I can't find my tool that I've put something down and lost it, and I don't know where the hell I've put it. It's an old age thing, I think. I've literally put an Allen key down, and I do not know where I've put it.
GTI was great little auto, but yours is special, even BBS wheels, I see.
Oh, they're from the US actually. They're from the US, so they're made by ESP. I couldn't get them in the UK, so to go to 15-inch, I could only get 4-stud in the UK. I'll turn the camera around so you can see along the side of it. But yeah, in the US, I could get 4-stud and 5-stud in a 15. They are 15 by 9J, and they're 4-stud and 5-stud. 4 times 100, 5 times 100. But from ESP alloys. You can get them in the US in chrome, in gold. I think you can get chrome and gold. I can't remember how many dollars they are a wheel. I think they're less than $200 a wheel. So they're not too bad. There was quite a good price. I imported them. I think getting into the UK, they cost me about $1,400. But as I said, you can't buy them in the UK, so it was nice to have something different.
So makes a lot. Says follow 4 by 100mm.
Yeah, so the original Mark 1 Golf would have been 4 times 100, but because this is running the VR6 setup, it's got the 5 times 100 front hubs and discs, that are off of the Mark III. So it's running 288 Mark III front Golf brakes. It's got the Mark III rear stub axles running the original Mark III VR6 rear brakes, and then I've basically just plumbed the whole system in from the Mark III, and it just works. I basically took everything from the Mark III, the later car, and put it into an early shell. So I've got the best of both worlds. I've got the, it drives really, really well, but at the same time, it looks really cool. The arches are much bigger. They're 100mm arches, I think, if not. Hang on. Oh, 6 inches. My arches are 6 inches. Yeah, at the shallow part, 6 inches. So yeah, they're quite big arches. I really don't know where I've put my bloody Allen key. How can you, I've put it down for 2 seconds. I can't think what I was doing. I only come over here. Ah, I found it. Here we go. We're getting there. I'm just trying to build a custom bike for this event, but there we go. Just so I've got lockout for the forks if I need it. Why do handle grips have to be such an arse to get on? I don't want to put anything underneath them, because if you put anything underneath them, they just slide off again. Oh, God.
There makes a lot set upgraded from donor all front drivetrain, correct rear from rabbit reason 5 lug and 4 lug wheels. Everything from the Mark III. The whole subframe I put underneath, and we cut the shell to mount all of the Mark III stuff. So that way, when I need parts, I don't go to get parts for the Mark I, which would have been the Mark I Rabbit. I go to get parts for the Mark III. I think the Rabbit was a great car, and it was very basic, but the VR6, people that put the VR6 motor in the Mark I Rabbit, without some serious modification, the shell is just not up for it. It will just twist the shell. So by putting the subframe underneath, just kind of clamps everything together and makes it just suits it a lot better. It handles the power quite nicely, and I haven't broke it yet. Which is quite nice. Right, let's put the Allen key back in there before I lose it again. Do you hate that when you put tools down and you spend half your time looking for the tool rather than doing the job? And then you put other stuff down and go, where did I put that tool? Yeah. Right, so we need it for that one and for that one. There we go. Sir Makes a Lot says okay, thanks for info. Had rabbit diesel 1 million miles. What's your opinion on R32?
1 million miles? Fucking hell, that's some serious miles, isn't it? No, this is on my original VR6 was on 174,000 miles on the engine when I done the swap. And then the original motor blew up. I supercharged it, and you know what it's like when you first supercharge a car and you want to have some fun. You kind of maybe giving it too many beans, and it kind of the motor didn't take it. So I had to get another motor. I think this was out of another VR6 Golf, and we threw this together, and luckily it worked. It's done all right. Yes, it's just hanging on there, I think, until it goes bang. Right, I've got to bleed the brakes now. I just like it because it's a simple car. Like all these modern cars, they're just overcomplicated, and the VR6 Golf is just a nice little simple car to drive. You can't get any more simple. I love it, absolutely love it. But it does draw a lot of attention, shall we say. There's not many places I can take it, or I can park it, or drive it, and even on stream.
A couple of years ago, I was having a normal conversation with a woman when she asked me what I thought about feminism, and I told her that I didn't really think much of it but knew a bit about it, and she said, okay, well, what do you know about it? And I told her, all I know is that lords like to think that they are on top, LMAO.
We're never going to win, guys. Whatever you do, you're never going to fucking win. Just remember that. You're always going to be wrong. And sometimes it's easier just to say yes, okay, and agree, because it's fucking easier.
Steam Passocker says you were gonna win. So makes a lot says you're true craftsman. Great to know ya.
No worries, dude. Thanks for coming in. Hi, Steen. How you doing, dude? Welcome in. Don't tell everyone, but Steen's one of the regulars. Carburetor cleaner or brake cleaner.
Steam Passocker says I'm good, and you?
Yeah, I'm better, mate. Better. The sickness and diarrhea, I think, is not near enough gone. I've just got back from Zante, for anyone who wonders, and I've been a little bit ill, shall we say. Which one is it? That one?
Steam Passocker says good to get over that.
Yeah, much better. So for doing the brakes, Steen, this is how you do brakes on a... I don't know if anyone's ever done brakes on a bike. Is that not going in there?
Sir makes a lot says like the stick perhaps.
Hang on. The O-rings come off.
Steam Passocker says it's only fun to hold onto your chair hoping not to shit yourself for the first hour.
The O-ring come off. So yeah, to do brakes on a push bike, you have to fit one of these. You have to fit the reservoir pot. Screw that in. Right, once you screw the reservoir pot in, you can then fill it up with oil.
Sir makes a lot says big fan of fifth gear.
Fifth gear? What was that? And then hopefully, I don't know how this is going to... Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you can just let it and the bubbles will come to the top. I might have to bleed it all the way through though, but we should better do a. Can we do a drip feed? Yeah, we'll do a drip feed. You can just literally open the bottom and let the liquid run through, and it just pushes. That's one way of doing it, or you can force it back up. But I'm gonna half job Bob, I think. Is it that one or the other one? No. That one? That's that one. Need to get more Loctite and some thread lock on these fuckers. Right. Just let it run through. And see the little air bubbles coming out. Doesn't take much to run these through because they're really, really tiny hoses. Just making sure you don't get it on the pad when it's feeding through. And then just wind it back up again. Now, you can do a proper job. This is half job Bob. Brake cleaner. Cool. There we go. We got the gears all working, Steen. That's what we've been doing today. Right, pump that a few times. So it holds it in the middle. That's got nice and stiff.
Says nice.
There we go, nice and stiff. Then what you can do, it's really weird. Stop the water. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing over here. Push that in there. I'll bring it over and show you. So once you've bled the system, the little pot you screw in, I'll try and show you what I mean. Like you screw the reservoir pot into the top of the brake cylinder. There you go. So you screw that into the brake, and then to stop the liquid going out, you put a plug in it, and then you can pour the rest of the liquid back in the bottle. This is mineral oil rather than brake fluid. Yeah, the old ones used to be .5, but all the new stuff seems to be just mineral oil. But I know if you mix them up, it doesn't work. There we go. Make sure they're done up tight. Oh, throw that away. Oh, there we go. That's the brakes done. Yeah, the range is a bit on the limit, shall we say? Because we've got you got your 3 on the front. I don't know. You've got I think it was say we say 24, 34, and 40 on the front. On the back, you've got 11 to 42, whereas before I had 11 to 32. So when if you go on the 2 big cogs, the chain is almost like really, really taut. You shouldn't really do that anyway. And if you go onto the 2 small ones, the chain's almost too loose. So I'm going to have to ride it on the middle cog most of the time. But it just gives me that. When we was on some of them mountains, I couldn't make it, could I, to get off. So I'm thinking if we can go a bit lower on the back. The other idea is now we've lengthened all the cables, we've got this idea to go on the front. So this will be mounted on here somehow. I'd like to get this made out of aluminium, but that way it's completely independent, and I can put all my tent and my sleeping bag and all that in the front here, independent from the back. But I don't know how we're going to mount it. I need to make like a little mount.
You'll go like a hamster up the hills now.
I'll just it won't be very fast, but I'll just have that windy gear. But having the weight independent from the wheels, I should be able to bank the corners, and it will take the weight off of the steering. The stand, I like the stand because I can test it. So the stand is, I don't know if the stand's going to hold all the weight, but if all the weight's at the front will be held down. I think, you know what I mean, if this is on the floor, not all the weight's going to be on the stand, is it? As long as there's a wheel on the floor, the stand, it should pivot, so it shouldn't always have the whole bike a weight on the stand. So I'm hoping that holds the weight, because that's just a generic universal stand I've bought off of Amazon. Now, solar panel, I don't know where to put a solar panel. I could have a solar panel maybe on the top of the carrier, like a lid maybe. I need some kind of solar. That's the only thing with cycling. I don't know what seat we're going to use either. But it's quite a like knock that over. Getting onto it is quite low, and then having the front, and I need to get the rear suspension pumped up though. Oh, it's getting a bit windy. We need to wind these levers out a little bit more. But having the low frame comes in handy, because now I'm getting on a bit. Getting over that high frame, especially when it was quite heavy, was quite a struggle. Oh, thinner than that. I like my brake levers to be quite a way out. There you go, right out there. Because as your brake levers wear...
Yeah, you're getting old, so you should have a woolen frame to get easily on and off road.
I was saying earlier to someone in the street, it was more... Yeah, that's better. Nice and out the way. Cool. As I said, they weren't the best gears I could have bought, but I can't believe I've bought this old bike back from the dead that I had when I was a kid. I've ordered mudguards from Germany, because obviously Germany and Holland are the only 2 places that make good bike bits and pieces. And I've gone for the same ones we had last time that go over the wheel, so I don't get all the shit up me. But yeah, I don't think there's any other adjustments I can do. I can't go any higher. I'd like to get a slightly bigger rear spring, but if I do that, the stand won't work. So I can only go for the same size shock. Now, at the moment, I think that's on soft. I'm not sure what headset bearing that was. I don't think it was that good, but we'll see how that goes. I'm sure there's a bike shop on the way to around Scotland somewhere if the headset bearing goes. But mounting this basket, I'm not sure the best way of doing it. On some of the cargo bikes that they do, what they've done is they've got like a thread insert here, like either side. So they've got one either side at the top, and the basket kind of almost slots on and then just bolts in, which is a good idea. But I need it almost to be removable. At least if I've got clamps on it like this, I could just whip it off with a couple of nuts. I'm going to put locking nuts on it. I don't think this will damage the frame. As long as they're done up tight and there's no movement, they should be fine. Because it's only carrying tents and that on the front. I'm not jumping it, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't want any side movement. Any side movement could twist the clamps. But yeah, I'm not quite sure. I don't have to weld to the clamps. I make them part of the framework. I could do that, and then I could weld along them maybe. It's just trying to work out how I'm going to make it all work. And it's all about the cable run as well. Where are the cables running? Because at the moment,
Office says yeah. Hard to tell how well the clamps work with weight.
Well, I think they're supposed to. They can probably take I reckon they could take a ton between both of them. So, if you was to carry, I reckon you could carry a ton on them. 2 clamps with weight pulling on them bolts. I reckon you could easily carry a ton. So yeah, we're going to go nowhere near that when we're talking kgs. We're not even 50 kg, is it? So, but yeah. I said order this all the way from China. This is quite heavy. Now, I could try and remove some of this. Now, if we kept the bottom bar and maybe remove the top bar, if we cut this bit out this end and then I bend these down.
You've got time to break it a few times before next joggle.
I was wondering if to cut these bars underneath, bend this bar down. So if you imagine this bar here, if I cut this off here, cut all this off, I could then bend that down there. I then lose all this extra weight, lose this bit out the bottom. Yes, it's made of steel, but it's going to be... I was worried about hitting it. If I knock this when I'm on the jog and it was made out of aluminium, it could fracture. Making it out of steel, yes, it's heavy. It also weighs the bike up because this is heavy on the front, whereas I'm going to have a lot of weight on the back. But I don't know where to place it on the front. This is the issue. And how do I make the bracket? Do I sit it lower, higher, or... I want it probably as low as possible, don't I? I probably want it down there. And however I mount this, it's going to try and hinge on it. But yeah, I think the first thing is to remove the excess weight from it, which is to remove this bottom bit. Remove this bit out, that's a bit of weight. And then what I was going to do, I was just going to put a piece of board in there, a bit of ply, because I think ply is quite strong. Doesn't really need the support in the middle. And as I said, it's only like tents and stuff, so it should be fine. Or a bit of bamboo maybe, a couple of bamboo strips, just to cut down the weight. But it doesn't really need this continuous bar all the way around it. It does come with a bag. I'll show you the bag it comes with. So it does come with this waterproof bag. They say it's waterproof. We know what happens when we buy stuff from AliExpress and it says waterproof. It means maybe for 5 seconds. So it comes with this big bag with a like reflective heat thing in the bottom. This is going to be for food deliveries, 100%. This is a food delivery thing. So that goes in there like that, but that gives me quite a lot of storage. I can probably get all my clothes in that and my food. And then I can probably put some stuff on top. I could even hook a pannier bag on the side of this. So my idea was, if I wanted to carry a pannier bag, I could put a pannier bag on here. I could make a little bracket just for it to clip at the bottom to hold it from, stop it from flapping. It doesn't really matter. If I just hook a pannier bag on there, they might flap, but I could carry them. So I could have this and 2 pannier bags if I wanted to. So it just gives me the option of being completely overloaded if I want to be. But yeah, I've just got to get my head around how I'm going to make the brackets for it and how I'm going to mount it on there. But yeah, no electric either. Although I could go electric, because you could always put the battery on the carrier. Because of the big carrier at the back, you could put a battery on that, still have your pannier bags, and have either a front. You could have put a front motor crank on it if you wanted to. So you could go electric. Then I'd have a trailer. But yeah, this is my the mock-up, shall we say. But I don't know how I'm going to make the brackets for this bit. If I make it out of steel, it'll be alright. It just... I think it's got to go that way. I want to get it lower, because the lower the centre of gravity is probably the better. The problem I want to do is when I brace it, I need to spread the load, because if I just weld it to the tubes, these tubes are going to be thin, and I know exactly what's going to happen. The welds it's just going to literally crack along the tubing, which happens all the time because of the weight. So I just need to make sure that it's, when I weld, so if I weld a plate on here, you weld it across there and you bolt on, all the stress is going to be right along that weld on that thin tube. So I'm like, I need to brace a little bit more to stop any kind of twisting and flexing. It would be nice to have like almost a clamp mount. I did look at doing clamp mounts, because I bought like, my phone on the floor. I bought like these little clamps. Where's one? I'll show you. They're like little P clamps. But they're too big. But that would have been great, because it would have made that it had a bit of flex in it, kind of thing. So I could have had them on the lower, so they would go on the lower mount, which is going to probably be the one that breaks. But there's no way of mounting them unless I can do this. Can they do on the top one? I don't know actually. Let's have a look. I wonder if I can bodge that. See if we can make it fit with them. Yeah, it'd be too far back though. Because when that's on there, it needs to lean forward. They'd be too close, wouldn't they? Oh, maybe not. It'd be near. It's not quite near. Let's have a look. Just need some like reducers, because the clamps are made for something much bigger. I need to make some shims up to to clamp it. But if they were on there like that, no, the tray would then tip up too much. You've got no way of... Nah. Have to weldy something together. I wish I could weld aluminium. I've been looking at aluminium TIG welders, but the problem I've got, the small TIG welders are okay for stainless steel, brass, steel, but no good for aluminium. Aluminium, you need a lot more power, and a lot of the kits that you can buy, you can't plug them into a household socket. They take far too much current, so they just melt a normal plug. You can weld tin foil, but anything that I've been doing, it's all too thick, so no good. See, I'm not sure how to bloody mount it. The steering always goes, the frame must be leaning one way, because it doesn't matter what happens, look. It might be because of this extra cable, actually. It always wants to go this way. Is that alright? Just making sure all these cables are long. I've made them long on purpose, they can hopefully don't get caught. I wonder if I could have made that go under the frame. Rather than go over the top, I could have made it go behind here, rather than in front. I think the only other thing that worries me is the strength for this bloody headset thing. It looks pissed. Is that pissed? Doesn't look straight. Hopefully my light's going to fit on there. Or we could fit it on the front there, I suppose. Put a mount on the front of the... that'd probably be the better place for it. Rather than, like, I need a beam to see where I'm going, but rather than that, I would just like a big, like, almost strip light that just glows up, just so people can see me, not so I can see where I'm going. It's the hinge effect that's the problem. Yeah, it's kind of a bit higher because that's too high. It needs to be lower. But the lower this is, the better, because then it pulls. This is trying to pull down, so it's a strap effect. So the strap just pulls straight out. But then you want clearance. But I don't think it's going to hit the forks if I have it down there. It's just how to get them nuts. I could weld that clamp. I could just weld the clamp straight to it, see? Which would be a nice one. I could just put a couple of tacks either side. Could actually cut that bottom bar out and weld that in the middle, but that wouldn't drop it as low. So it needs a metal plate welded in there, and then a bit of brace work around the back just to stop any. And then I think make the clamps part of it, so it can just take the clamp out and the whole lot just pulls off. So I could almost replace these with twisty bar. You know, what's them? Oh, I've got like machine heads. Have you seen them? The ones you put on and lock up. I could have them on the back, so I can literally just machine head it and it just clamps on the frame. It's only for this bike, so I don't care. It just needs to be tacked and held in place. So really all I need to do is get one of these clamps and maybe mark where it's going to go. Masking tape. What's that measurement there? No, it's about 30 between the poles, okay. I don't think everything's central on this. I think it's all a little bit pissed. If I measure between the frame, the middle is there. The middle of that clamp is about there. There we go. So, as long as it's between them markies, we're all right. There we go. So yeah, probably tack and put a little metal bracket on there. Just make it up as we go along. Not sure what angle that's going to be. Guesswork. Not to the floor.
Coupon Cup says no eyelets in front fork because it's suspension, and that's the way you want it, is it?
Oh, sorry, mate, I missed that. Hang on, I'll just check. Yeah, I'll move it over here so I can see what the chat is. No eyelets in front fork of suspension, and that's the way I went. So the original setup I had on the bike I built last year, my carrier was mounted here, and it went out here. The problem is it's unsprung weight, and the handling was really bad. So I want like the cargo bikes. I want all the weight off the frame. Now this is a mock-up. It's kind of a test. I just want to carry my tent and all of my camping gear. I did have panniers on the last bike mounted here, but then it makes the steering really heavy. So what I'm going to do is, the beauty of this is, if you want to hang a pannier off the side of this, you can. I can hang a pannier bag, and it fits on the side of these really well. But at the same time, I can just throw my tent and everything else. So if we just do a mock-up here, I'll show you. So if I throw my tent and my sleeping bag, right, so here's pretty much all my camping gear. Now that's really heavy. But if that's on the front there, I've then got the weight on the bike. I can spread this round as well. It doesn't have to be here. I can put some of this on the back, but that would hold all of my camping gear nicely. So I haven't got to worry. Packing up is just so much faster. I can just throw the stuff I need away and get on the road quicker. And if it's wet, the water drips out, and I just want to. That's the thing, isn't it? It's mocking it up. So at the moment, I'm trying to work out how to mount this in a strong way, so it can just. I'm going to weld it and cut it, but it's got to be welded so it doesn't break the welds. Now, I'd prefer this made out of aluminium. Unfortunately, I can't get an aluminium one, so I'm having to use steel. But I'm going to cut as much of this as I can away to make it lighter. I'll probably cut some of this framework off the top. I'll probably trim round and cut all this off. I just want the bottom bit. This bottom bit of the rack is the bottom, and then this bit here, if I was to cut this here and bend this bit down, so bend this down so it welds down here, then I can respray it and clean it up. It doesn't need to be continuous all the way around. I just need to work out in my head how I'm going to mount it. So yeah, it's one of them. Just umming and ahhing backwards and forwards until I get what I aim to get, really. So I just stare at things until I get where I'm going. So until the idea comes to me and I kind of get in my head what I want. But yeah, I don't want it to be too front heavy. That would be an issue. So it needs to be balanced. Being aluminium would be the way forward, but as a trial and to see if the idea is going to work, we'll just do this to start with, because this weighs quite a few kg on its own. If I had this made out of aluminium, it would be less than half the weight. I can't weld aluminium, unfortunately. But the good thing with steel is it doesn't break like aluminium does. Yeah. I did look at just getting a thin carrier, but even then, it has to be a certain width, because if you put pannier bags on it, obviously, if you hang a pannier bag here, the wheel would hit would be great, but the wheel could hit it. If you hang that on there like that, a pannier bag is out here. Your wheel's never going to hit it, look. Not unless you stop. So you could throw a couple of pannier bags on it if you really wanted to. Yeah. But with the pannier bags hanging on the back, it's already quite wide. So when that's on there, it's probably about the same width. But I've got to work out how I'm going to make the bracket. I don't have to weld it to the clamp or have to make another bracket. So I could just weld it and use the existing clamp metal as make that part of the fitting. Or I could just make a metal plate. I think a strip of metal might do it. If I just do a strip of metal going up there and just weld that to the strip of metal and then just build on it. And then I just have to go to a manufacturer and say, or a fabricator and say, can you make something like this similar out of aluminium for me? Tell them what they want it for, but it's probably going to cost me a lot of money to have it custom made rather than buy something off the shelf. And that's why I'm making this, because it's just to save a bit of money. But I'm trying to get this as low as possible because of centre of gravity. And putting the tube underneath this makes it lower, but I can't really go much lower. These are just standard tube clamps. But if I use locking bolts, but yeah, I'm trying to think what size steel. It's going to have to be quite big steel. Now, using big steel is great, but it means it's just more weight. I don't want the weight. I'm trying to cut the weight down. Having a plate from there to there is great, but that means all that bit of metal there isn't really doing much. So it's better just to have a couple of little right angle brackets. I don't know if I've got any right angled steel. Oh, actually I have. We've got right angled steel. So I might have to just tack it some. Thing is, I think that would have too much flex. If I put a couple of spacers on there, weld that to that, because it's only going to try and do that. So as long as I kind of brace it. The other thing I thought of doing was cutting this bottom bar out. And you've got one of these on the bike. If I was to snip this out, put that in the frame and weld that actually in there, so that becomes the tube. And if I cut that at the right angle, I could actually slip that into the frame, weld round it. That would be a really, really good fit. Be even better if it was adjustable. It shows me there's not enough room. Like basically, you weld a piece of tube in there and a piece of tube in there. You insert it into them. So basically, that would then be adjustable, so you can adjust the level. That would make it quite strong. But yeah, I think the best option is probably snip that out. Snip that out, and then make that pop, because that'll bring it slightly higher. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Let's have the other thing. How far is that going to go down? If I bend that from there. Yeah, so if I cut there, I can swing that tube down to meet there. That loses all of this weight off the top. This one then hold the bottom. As I said, it's only to hold the weight, and it's got a bag with it, so even if the front's open, it doesn't. But I save some weight by doing that. Cut this bottom bit out. We don't need that. So we've got that, and that. That can go. I'm never going to send it back to China. It's going to be out of warranty by the time I do what I'm going to do with it. But I'm umming and ahhing whether to cut that and put that in the middle. But if I do that, it then sets it that much too higher. And if it's higher, it changes the angle of this. At the moment, if that sits below the clamp, and I make that work, this bracket here can just have a straight bit of metal coming straight out to it, or a piece of tube. I could even do a piece of tube from there down to there, which I could probably cut from this. I can probably use bits of this to... I need it to come down at an angle to do inside to side. It needs to be triangulated in some way to stop twisting. So it needs to be coming at an angle.
Giggity Sponges says, Son.
Yeah, I think the only thing we can do is maybe put a plate on there.
Giggity Sponges says this is a tune.
It's not bad. I don't know. I think I've heard it a few times. This is the copyright stuff, copyright free as well. On Kick or YouTube, just to say you won't hear the music. The music only plays if you're watching on Twitch. And that was just due to copyright with YouTube. The same feed that goes out for YouTube goes to Kick as well. So if you want to chill back with some of the tunes, come over and check us out on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Clive's Adventures. I've got it on as well, by the way. It plays. Yeah, I need to get some welding. I've got to do some welding tomorrow anyway, so this is just me thinking about what I'm going to do, and then we will knock something up and make it happen. I think I'm going to have to strip everything off it though. When I do this, I'm probably going to have to drop the handlebars and forks and get rid of everything out the way when I'm welding because I don't want to damage anything.
Steve Christopher says if it's only for YouTube, you could just do the rest stream for Twitch and kick on and YouTube directly instead.
No, so what I do, I stream. I've got 2 streams. You've got the broadcast, which goes out with everything on it. You've then got the one that has just the stream audio. That goes to the VODs, Kick, and YouTube. It was just the easy way to set it up, Steam, at the time. To try and make them all different just got complicated. So the way I'm doing it at the moment, I stream 2 streams from my house. One goes out to Restream, one goes to Twitch. The one on Restream has no audio, and that's the one that goes, or no music, and that's the one that goes everywhere else. The next thing is I need some cool stickers, black and white stickers. I don't know what we're going to do. I'm going to clean these up. These are white. We'll leave them as they are. I'm just going to sticker them. The frame is black. I'm going to de-sticker the frame, give it a bit of a clean, and then we will sticker the frame up with whatever. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about the back half of the frame being red. It was red originally, so I might just leave it. But I saw. Did anyone see the hill climb bike that I shared?
Giggity Sponges says Martini, your bike.
Nah, not Martini. It has to be something different. Martini went with the car because it belongs on the car. When it comes to the bike, I saw. If you look at the post on cycling, which I put on my Discord, if you haven't already joined the Discord, please come and join the Discord. We've got gaming content, cycling content, general banter, and whatever else. But if the guy that done the hill climb done it on an old carbon fibre racer with old group sets and everything else, and he won by 2.5 seconds, I think it was. And he's got a black carbon fibre bike, and he's just got white stickers on it, and it was like, I don't know, just really cool things. The things what it said, and I was like, that's quite cool. I'm going to steal that idea, I think, for Le Jog. Even if we put on it Le Jog 2025 and stuff like that in places, I can make the stickers up myself. But it was just looking for different things to put on it.
Sponges says, so you're thinking gaming stickers?
No, not gaming at all. It will be cycling based. And then I need to find some bags to go on it as well. I need a little bag that goes in the frame because there's a triangle shape there, and I'm like.
Steamcastoffer says you can have a Santa's little anchor sticker on it. Giggity Sponges says I know.
Yeah, I want to make it more related to what it's meant to be. But it's getting there.
Giggity Sponges says have the charity logo.
Well, that's on the barcodes. So yeah, I might have something on here. If we was to put a plastic board on here with stickers either side, on the basket at the front as well, so it's barcodes on here and information and stuff like that maybe for it. Because last time, the amount of people that helped us on the way.
You did with your phone.
Yeah, well, that came in handy because people come and watch the stream, but not only that, campsites saw straight away that I was streaming, and they were like, okay, you're streaming for charity, and we got it for free, so that helped out massively because it was something that didn't cost me. But we saved a bit of money, but it still cost a fair bit.
Giggity Sponges says have that blue one you have on the overlay.
Yeah, it's just getting them printed out, mate. I can make them up. I need to sit down and design some and then cut them all out and get them stickered nearer the time. But
Giggity Sponges says with QR code.
I'm thinking of welding this to the bracket. If I weld that to the bracket, that will save me a lot of hassle. But then if I weld it there, I won't be able to get the socket on it.
Giggity Sponges says yeah, try and design the charity one with QR code.
I did think of cutting the middle of this out, Steen. So if I was to notch this, so cut this bit of tube out with the angle grinder and then slip this in the frame, so that then goes in it, and then I can just weld round the outsides of it, and then that becomes part of it. which would sort the lower bracket out. So then that would just literally slot onto the frame and be in the right place because it'd be there. But then it's making the bracket. Then that makes this angle here for the top one is right out. If I lower it, it makes this a strap, so it's then just pulling straight. If I lift that up, then it's not pulling straight, and it's not going to be the same. So I can make one work, but I can't make the other one work, if that makes sense. If I drop it lower, the top one should just be a strap, which should be quite easy to do. But just need to get in my head how I'm going to do it. I wish I could hold this there with zip ties.
Steamcast Office says, I guess you'll have to weld some supports to the top.
Yeah. Where's the? I don't know. I've got a bucket full of zip ties somewhere. I did have. I haven't got a clue where they've gone. Bucket full of them, and they've all just vanished, and I've not got a clue where they've gone. I just want it to be like, I don't want it to be overcomplicated. I want it to be simple, but it also weighs an absolute ton. I was going to use some zip ties to kind of hold it on. Fence wire would be good. You know, the twisting wire, that would be quite good as well. I could twist that around it and hold it in place, so I can just weld it up then.
Giggity Sponges says, and also easy to fix.
Well, yeah, if it's made out of steel, I can just get it welded anywhere. But as I said, it is quite heavy. But if I'm not taking both pannier bags and this is just carrying my clothes and stuff like that, it wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah. Chicken fence wire.
Said the pannier bags are on the back. Yeah, chicken. No, not chicken fence wire, garden wire. Stina, know what I mean? You twist it. I don't think I've got any. It's just steel wire. It's what you basically just give it a twist. But I don't think I've got any. We've got some long cable ties.
Giggity Sponges says, what's the difference?
Chicken wire is like a mesh, and the other one's not a mesh. Can I use? I don't know where my releasable. I don't want to use these ones because these are my normal cable ties. I've not got a clue where they've gone. Like when I say there's a bucket of them, there is a pot, and it is a bucket. And it's just vanished. Where the bloody hell's that gone? It doesn't help that I've got my reading glasses on, so I can only see about a foot in front of me. But I've not used it for anything else. And it seems the weirdest thing to lose, because you can't put it anywhere. Whenever I put it somewhere, the zip ties get caught and it falls off the shelf. It's the most annoying, because the zip ties all stand out the top of it. I've not got a clue where it is. Oh, it is. There it is, behind here. Ah, there we go. We found it. So I have zip ties sitting everywhere. But these ones here are not going to fit because they are too big. Okay. Right. In that case, let's use one of them. Right, so we use one of them ones, and we'll zip that up, and then let's use two of them. They're not as strong. No, I don't think the gap's big enough. Can we get? Can we push that through? There we go. Right. Right, there we go. Create a few loops. Said it weren't that tight, didn't I? Right, so you've got, yeah, your cable ties on there. Is that going to work? I'm not sure which one I'm going to use, the top one or the bottom one. Right, there we go. Can we then zip tie through that? Good old zip ties for holding things in place. So yeah, that holds it there, and then it's just finding the angle, making the plate that's going to go between there and there. That is a bit higher than it needs to be though. It needs to be lower than that really. Where's the ruler? At least that'll give me an idea of angles. Yes, that needs to go a little bit late. It's slightly out of a line, but I could just do a straight bit of steel. I could do the steel kind of coming on and then it goes up behind it. So it just hooks. So it's like a hook there. And then if I weld it there and behind there, it acts as, it's not going to split the metal because it's actually laying on it. It's just the weld's just to stop it from vibrating. And then the bottom one, so the top one's nice and easy. That's just literally a flat, I can almost do a flat piece of steel from that. Or I could do 2 tubes from either side. But yeah, it's this bottom one is the problem. I'm like, do I cut it out? Do I weld it in? Or how long is that? Let's get a couple of them. Let's get a couple of cable ties. God. Here we go.
Peaceful Gangster 374 says, hi Clive, Surly modify a rear pannier carrier for the front.
I did think about that, but it's not. It doesn't do what I want it to do. This is all the cargo bikes, right? So if you look at all the bikes you can get on the market, all the cargo bikes now have got front-mounted carrier racks, which is brilliant, but even more useful on a normal bike, right? The only problem is this is made out of steel. This would be great if it was made out of aluminium. If I could get a company to make me a custom mount, even if it's welded to the frame, I don't care. The only reason this might need to come off is if you go on a train. So this is made out of steel. I'm going to maybe try and take the top layer off to save a bit of weight, and we'll take the bottom out, and I'll maybe put a bit of bamboo or something in the middle. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. Maybe some bamboo across it, just to make it look a bit neater. But what I want is, when I cycled Le Jog back in May, I lost all my steering. But with this, look, completely independent steering. And that's kind of what I'm looking for, really. There we go. So this is kind of what I'm hoping to get. And that way I can go over all the bumps and all the weight is just on the frame. This doesn't have to have lots of weight in it. I just want some. So I go shopping when I can just throw my shopping on it. Shopping bag, I can place that on top. It comes with its own. It comes with its own bag, which is quite big. So you know, I can just throw any shopping and stuff in that. It just makes it easier because I was always trying to pack my bags. We're gonna have panniers on the back. Yeah, so you've got your double panniers on the back, and maybe the tent and bits and pieces, and then just other bits and pieces on the front. I can put all the real heavy stuff in the back. That's what I'm aiming to do, and then I can, as I said, this will just be for some of the little bits and pieces, but it just makes it easier. So, like, I've got drink holders, which I've bought, which...
Alistair Beach says, hi Dad.
Hi Dad. Someone else I don't know about. Fucking hell. It's getting out of control, this shit. I've got cup holders to go, so I can just put my bottles in here. So that was another idea. Because on the other bike, I had them mounted up here on the handlebars, which I could still have, to be quite honest. I can still have them in there like that. But I was going to try and get rid of the weight of the bottles on the front, maybe, or even on the sides. Then I can have my drinking bottles out the way, so when I'm cycling along, I can just drop them in, just nice and easy. These are nice because they're lightweight, but they also keep your stuff cool. But yeah, what platform was that on? Was that on Kick or was that on Twitch? Do you know, Plasma? But yeah, what to make the bracket out of? Right, I'm going to call it a day anyway. I'm going to go and get some dinner. It's getting quite late. Thank you to everyone that's come in today. Much appreciated. Who said... Oh, okay. It's typical that was on Twitch. But yeah, until next time, I'm sure there'll be some more streams regarding the bike build. At least it's working anyway. We've got all the gears working. We've got 3 on the front, 10 on the back.
374 stainless steel strips.
Stainless steel strips. I could use stainless steel. I've got some stainless steel somewhere. I was trying to build out of aluminium. But yeah, stainless steel would do it as well. The problem is when you right, so you've got up down movement, you've also got side to side. So we need to stop any twisting. That's the other issue. Any side movement. Let's just pull these out while I'm here. But fabricating is always a fun job because it's one of them, and I just have to think about what I'm doing.
Gangster 374 says, nice project bike. Ally be good too.
Well, we've got a lot. When we done the jog, I didn't have enough ratios of gears, so this one's got a little bit better ratios. But I've put the handlebars on it, so we've got raised handlebars. We've got a spacer here because I was leaning over too much when we were doing the jog. But rear suspension, independent carrier from the suspension. But yeah, it's a project, and I'm not sure if it's going to work, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, thank you to everyone that's come in. I think we should raid someone anyway because I'm going to go and have some dinner. Yeah, so thanks to everyone. Much love. Let's go and find someone to raid. If you are watching on any other platform apart from Twitch, you won't come over for the raid. Right, who's on? Let's go and find an IRL streamer we can raid. Who we got? Who haven't we raided for a while? The Baron's quite chilled. We haven't raided Baron for a while. Zed the cyclist. Oh, Zed cycling. Let's what's Zed up to? Let's go and have a look. Problem is I've got to wait for ads to raid. This is what annoys me with the Twitch app. Let's see if we can work this out. Right, raid. Z the I think that's right. See if this works. Yay, I got it right. There we go. So for everyone, if you're watching on any other platform, you won't come over for the raid. Only if you're watching on Twitch. But yeah, it's nice to keep that love going. Raiding's a good part of communities, meeting other communities, and at the same time, we might make some new friends. So it's all good. But yeah, thank you to everyone. If you haven't already subscribed and liked and all the good stuff, please do that now. Yeah, but I need food. And for everyone who didn't see the golf, there's the toy before we go. But yeah, there will definitely be more content on this. I need to do the holiday content as well because I've had sickness and diarrhea. So I've done absolutely no editing yet on the holiday. I haven't even posted to social media because once I got sickness, that was it. Everything kind of died there and then. So I need to get that done. But I will make some more content on the bike, and then hopefully we'll get out and test it. But that'll be another day. Until next time, everyone, much love. Catch you later. Bye.